What's up guys, EC here, and today I've got a bit of a different video for you. I know I've put out some videos recently about Atari's latest acquisition, Digital Eclipse, but I kind of want to talk about, does Atari need to keep making acquisitions? Because for those who don't know, this year Atari's made like a dozen acquisitions. They picked up Night Dive Studios, they picked up the Bubsy rights, they picked up obviously Digital Eclipse now. I think they also picked up, yeah, they picked up AtariAge as well. They picked up a few other things like the Berserk and obviously other games from still arcades. They obviously bought M Network as well. So that's 7 acquisitions this year, guys. 7. Now, as an investor in Atari, I think the strategy here is smart. Picking up companies that you know and assets that you know that Atari can utilize to grow and monetize those IPs as a way to obviously expand and obviously deliver on more variety of stuff and more variety of games and whatnot. However, I do also got to admit, I think it's time that Atari needs to slow down, slow your roll, calm down, and focus on the growth aspect. Focus on the actual growing revenues and that, because Atari, for those that know, in the last fiscal year, made a loss of about $9.5 million. Why that's relevant is because they've been spending so much buying up so many different content library or game libraries, and they're obviously buying up some different game developers and publishers like Digital Eclipse and Night Dive. And to me, I kind of feel like Atari kind of needs to slow down a bit, cool the jets, take a step back, calm down, Wade, calm the spending, because obviously here on this channel, obviously I make no secret I'm an investor in Atari. I've talked about it in quite a few videos. I literally just put out a video talking about how to buy shares in Atari. This ain't my first rodeo. But the way I see it, Atari needs to calm down with the spending now. They've already spent a lot of money. They've got what they need now. They've got what? I think they've got a library of about 400 games. They've got obviously Night Dive and Digital Eclipse that can now make game compilations and remasters of these games. They have AtariAge where they can obviously sell homebrews and help make a commission off of that stuff, and obviously maybe publish those games as well. So you've got AtariAge. They've obviously got Moby Games, which they bought a few years ago, where it's obviously this huge game database. And yeah, it just kind of feels like Atari has got the assets now. They've got what they need. They don't really need to keep buying stuff. Like they're already big enough now, in my opinion, and now need to focus on growing their revenue and actually making a profit. Because if they don't make a profit soon, I don't know what's going to actually happen to Atari long term. Because who doesn't know, Atari hasn't made a profit in a long time. You'll see some YouTubers claim that Atari's more profitable than ever. That's not true. That is not true. That is a false narrative that some people were pushing because of the Atari VCS, and they want you to believe that because of the Atari VCS. What's actually going on with this is Atari is actually losing money. They're losing about $9.5 million a year. Now, last year they lost more than that. Last year they lost over $20 million. This year they've cut that down to 9.5. But then when the 2023 fiscal year ends for them, which will be next July, next August, the question becomes, how much money did you make or how much did you lose? Because that's kind of what we want to know now. And they have got, hundreds of games in their catalog now. They have these development teams at Night Dive and Digital Eclipse. So the question becomes, how long are you going to keep doing acquisitions for? Because problem with acquisitions in gaming or in general is eventually you'll run out of money. Eventually you'll run out of money to acquire stuff. And if you're spending more than you're making, that's not enough. That's not good. And a lot, people will tell me, oh yeah, but Atari's going to be fine. Atari's going to be fine. Guys, I'm seeing a repeat in history here. Now, some people probably think, oh, you're crazy. Well, in the 90s, there was a company called Infogrames, who is now Atari. Infogrames actually bought out a bunch of publishers. They bought out Ocean Software, GT Interactive, Atari, Hasbro Interactive, tons of different publishers. And in 2003, they rebranded to Atari. And since then, they had a few issues in the late 2000s, but they weren't as relevant as they once were. And the library they had wasn't bringing in billions of dollars, and people weren't buying their games. And they had games like Driver, Driver 3 was awful. And they basically had to start selling some stuff, and they kept having to downsize their operations, downsize. And that company is still around. That's the modern day Atari, but they've got a different leader now. So the different leader in Wade Rosen needs to find a way to avoid making that mistake. Because if they make the same mistake again, That's it shows they didn't learn anything. Now, hopefully, Atari, with all these acquisitions, they can obviously start releasing the games and making a bunch of money off of like consoles and Steam and whatever, and like merchandising and all that good stuff. And hopefully, Wade sort of slows down a bit now, and Wade sort of focuses now on trying to make the company profitable. Because as an investor, obviously, we want the company to be profitable. We want the company to be around for a long time. Now, I do have investments in other things. I own some investments in some banks and whatnot. So I'm not really concerned about Atari making money for my sake. I'm more concerned for Atari making money for long term to actually stay around. Because you can lose money for a certain number of years, but then when it gets to when it's been going on for a certain amount of time, investors are going to get a little bit shaken. They're not going to really want to invest in you, and Atari kind of needs to sort of like find a way to build up their obviously revenue and their profits, and do it soon. So what I think they should do is, now they've got all these studios, they've got these huge game libraries, they've got AtariAge, they've got all this stuff. Just slow it down. Slow it down. Maybe don't stop making acquisitions, but like slow down a little bit. You know, don't make any for a little while. Don't make any more till like later next year, and try and grow the revenue first. You know, try and make money off of Berserk Recharged and Turok Free and Digital Eclipse's little like arcade game things they're doing. Just try and make some money off of that, and obviously then just continue to just slowly build out. And then obviously next year, when we get the financials, hopefully they're all good, and then hopefully if they're making money, we can then start seeing Atari, move forward and maybe make an investment again. Maybe they buy something like Sneaky Box, maybe they buy another studio, maybe they buy some more another game catalog. That's what I think Atari needs to do. I think Atari needs to focus on making profits now, and try and obviously build out obviously revenues and whatnot. And the acquisitions, they've done quite a few. They've done 7. You've got enough stuff now. I think it's time to call it and to get ready for the next phase. Anyway, guys, I've been EC. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, turn notifications for more Atari news. I'm EC, and I'm signing out. Peace.